Hello, welcome to Clarkston Lighthouse Guidance. I am Victoria Fleming, co-owner and therapist at Clarkston Lighthouse Counseling. In our show, we discuss and explore psychological topics that affect us all, including relationships, parenting, and issues such as depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. We will draw on our training and experience to help you guide you through life's challenges. Today, I have with me a guest, Deneen from Grow From Your Overflow. Deneen.
Hi, my name is Deneen Troop-Buitrago, and I have an organization called Grow From Your Overflow. I really want to have you fill up on good things in your life so you overflow in a good way. I host at the GFYO Business and Educational Center personal development and professional development workshops, and I'm so happy to be here today.
So glad to have you. Okay, so today we're going to talk about developing a new habit. And I know first we need to even identify, what is a habit?
Well, you know, we really are creatures of habit. We every day do things in a way that is unique to us, that no one else does, and we don't even realize it. From the way that you brush your teeth, how you even take a shower, which part of the body you start with, and even tying your shoe. And we have learned behaviors as well. Like driving our car is a learned behavior, but now it's a habit because we don't think about it when we do it.
Which means when you get a new car, it can be a little bit challenging because suddenly those things that we did out of habit are a little bit more confusing because things are different. The dashboard is different. How you put the key in is different.
Exactly.
So if I want to develop a new habit, what do I need to do?
Well, you need to do lots of different things. I love this book that Charles Duhigg has. It's called The Power of Habit. And he talks about 3 steps to developing that, because whether you're a good student or poor student, whether you're in shape or out of shape, it depends on those habits. So we really need to have a plan. So we have the actual reminder or the cue, the trigger, whatever we want to call it. I like reminder because the next 2 also start with R. We have the routine, the actual behavior that we want to do, and then we have the reward, because we always need to reward ourselves.
Absolutely. A reward is, well, it's the carrot at the end of the stick, you know, that will get a horse marching down its road.
Exactly.
So.
And if it's something like exercising more or having better nutrition, the reward is not necessarily a physical, I'm going to have a candy bar, but it's that good health feeling. So there are different rewards for different things.
Okay. So if I want to develop a new habit, it sounds like my very first step is identifying what that trigger is, or you like the word better?
Reminder.
Okay.
You know, what I want to first start with is what it's not, because what happens is people feel like sometimes it's very overwhelming to them to start something new. And so I want to just encourage people to remember that it's not just you getting on the horse and saying, this is what I'm going to do, this is all my willpower. It's really a behavior. So it is a reminder. So for example, a reminder of what I did. In January, I started a new nutrition program. And there was a lot of supplements for me to take. And I said, how am I going to remember to do all this? So I had got one of those little lineup things for the day, and I put all of my pills in, and then on my phone, I put a reminder, an actual alarm that would tell me when I was supposed to take each of the pills. And so that for me was that trigger, that reminder, and it just until it became a habit. I'm 5 months into it now, and I don't need that anymore. I know exactly when I'm supposed to take those.
Okay, so out of curiosity, for how many weeks or months did you continue to use the reminder? Did you continue to use the alarm before now 4 months into it not needing it?
Well, what is really great and what the research says is that you should attempt to do it for at least 30 days. That's going to put it into your unconscious mind, so that, like brushing your teeth before you leave the house, you're not going to think about it, but it becomes part of your day, part of your way of being.
Okay.
So that's what's really cool.
All right, so step 1 is identifying really what your behavior is that you want to do. Developing a reminder so that we can initiate that behavior. Now what?
Well, just imagine this though. What if it's something you want to stop doing? What if it's a negative behavior? Like maybe at your office each day or at your place of business, you get really kind of hungry in the middle of the afternoon, and you get up and you go to the break room or the cafeteria and you get whatever goodie is in there for the day. So right there, you have to identify what is that trigger, what is taking you into there to have that negative habit. So you have to figure out, well, is it because I'm getting up because I'm really hungry? Is my blood sugar low?
Or am I bored maybe?
Right.
Or
just need a break from work.
Absolutely. Want to get up and move around.
Right. So that's the opposite trigger. You have to figure out, why am I doing this? So to experiment, really experiment with, let's see, this day, instead of getting up and going to the break room, I'm going to go take a walk around the office.
Okay.
Maybe that's it. If you still have that craving, say, well, okay, it wasn't just getting up. The next day, do another trick and say, okay, I'm just going to go talk to a coworker. If it's that, if you realize, oh, I didn't really need the cookie, maybe it's just that bored and you need some socialization.
Absolutely. And work can get tedious and you
Right.
can get bored and you do want to talk to someone.
Right.
Okay, so on the first day, test one possible trigger.
Right.
Second day, another.
And figure out which one is really causing the fact that you're getting up and getting a cookie.
Okay.
I'm sure your husband or wife or a loved one will love those non-extra pounds on you from not having the Christmas.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
But anyway, I one of the things that is really important, I think, is that you write down the goal that you have. So if it's something as big as I want to lose 40 pounds, or is it something as small as I don't want to eat the cookie in the afternoon, write it down. Do you know that only 3% of the population writes down their goals?
Wow, that is a low percent of people.
Low percent, and that's for any kind of goal. And we're not talking about a life goal here. We're talking about something very small, very tangible. And we need to break it down into those different pieces so that it's such a small thing that you can possibly say no. Like, I can do this because it's so easy. So break it down into those smaller steps. So for example, for me, my big goal was I wanted to get off of my blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
So what did I have to do? I had to start eating clean. So that meant I had to make a plan of how I was going to eat. I had to take my supplements. As I told you, that was another small goal that I had to plan. So by breaking it down into smaller components, you'll have more success.
So you would also encourage write down that plan, because there are studies that show the very effort of writing it down, one, makes a person more committed.
Yes.
Makes the goal clearer, because a person tends to want to write in a fashion that's very clear, and then it's a daily reminder.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's a daily reminder. And even restructuring your own environment. So if it is about clean eating, then you need to get the junk out of your house. You need to get the chips. You need to stop buying those things, even if you have a coupon. Don't buy it, you know? So that kind of thing. So you need to be able to make this new habit a real priority in your life.
So the reality is, I would be replacing, very often it sounds like a new habit is in an effort to replace perhaps a less healthy habit. So using the example at work of going to get the cookie when I really may just be bored. I really just may need a little bit of exercise because I'm tired.
Yes.
I really just need a social interaction, and then I want to replace it. So instead of going to the break room and getting the cookie, I'm going to be social, or I may do exercise, or I'm going to do a little bit of stretching at my desk. Okay, so it's kind of a double purpose.
It's a double purpose, and the more I say, the more senses that you can get into it, the better. So I even like visualization activities, because when you visualize yourself in that healthy weight, or doing that healthy activity, or just doing the habit that you want to do, I think that it just puts you in a better mindset, in a better frame of mind.
And I do appreciate that you said the habit that you want, because we're using food just as an example.
Right.
Just as a tangible example, but there's so many different things, different habits that people want to develop. It can be reading more, spending more time with family, doing more exercise. So the food is just an example as a springboard.
Oh yeah, and I was thinking that sometimes when you want to start a new habit, you may put a trigger that's next to something else. I like the example of flossing your teeth. So our dentists are always telling us it'll help with gum disease and all of those things, and we all know we should do it more.
Yes.
So putting it right next to the toothbrush and toothpaste, getting those little throwaway ones that are a lot easier than pulling it out. Whatever you can do to make it more simple, that's the way that it's going to be better for you.
So then I'll see toothbrush, toothpaste, dental floss. I need to do all of it.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So
Exactly.
I think we've got the trigger reminder concept. What next?
Okay. Well, everybody likes to have a friend along too. So I'm an accountability person.
I like accountability.
So accountability is a great motivator, because we can't always motivate ourselves, and that's one of the things that this is not about either. It's not about you rearing up and for the long haul. So that accountability partner, that buddy. I know a lot of people have people that they walk with because they want to do exercise. They have people that they talk with. They call them up. You know, they exchange different things. So I think that accountability really helps. And like I said before, you really have to commit to it for 30 days.
Okay.
I
30
mean,
days is a chunk of time.
It is a chunk of time. So think about, starting and saying, okay, it's the 14th of the month. I'm going to do this till the 14th of next month. Really, we can do it for 30 days.
Yes, we can.
That's a short amount of time in our whole span of life.
It is. It is. And I like what you're saying about accountability, because I know Fitbit. My kids have recently gotten Fitbits.
Oh, okay.
And within the Fitbit, so they've got the reminder on their wrist, and then there are challenges. And so they can invite a friend online, and they can challenge each other, which is a great, reward if they win. They love it, especially if it's a friend or a cousin.
Right.
So I like that accountability to help, and the accountability actually helps with the reminder, the reward, I would think, because you got the
yes, and that's part of the reward, is that the new habit. If people are love competition, that example of the Fitbit is perfect for that. If you're not liking that kind of some people don't like challenge because they're afraid of it, but for me, especially with the nutrition path that I'm on, it's just looking better, getting into different clothes, the old clothes that I wish I could be in. It's, people saying things and just having that compliment. So there's lots of different ways to think of a reward. But I think, and you probably know this, that we need to celebrate as we go along the journey. Never just think, oh, when I hit the goal, then I can celebrate, then I will have my reward. But because we've broken it down so much into smaller pieces and bite-sized pieces, we really should celebrate along the way with little things as well.
And actually, that's something that as a therapist that I work with my clients is celebrate along the way, because you're wanting to shift from a negative thinking to a more positive thinking. And what celebrating does is increase positive thinking. I can do this. I am able. I was successful at this, and that's very positive.
Oh yeah, and even if someone it gets stuck or anything like that, it is more of, you also have to think about the consequences. Well, you can switch it around and say, well, what would happen if I didn't do this? What would happen if I did not accomplish this? Because some people are very motivated by the negative consequences that can happen as well. So that can also be another way to motivate yourself. It could be another way of getting it really, again, in that mindset, depending on what kind of person you are.
Oh, the number of people who end up motivated because a doctor says, for example, the high blood pressure. You have high blood pressure, and if you do not lose the weight or increase the exercise, decrease the stress in your life, then some of the negatives that could happen are. And so you're right. Recognizing that potentially negative consequence, the pain that it can cause to not develop the new habit.
Right. And that goes right into who we hang out with. Do you realize that? They say that if you hang out with people who are poor eaters and obese, that you will tend to gain weight as well. So experts say that we are kind of the sum of the 5 people that we hang around with the most. So we need to find some really positive role models in our life.
Yes,
so
we do.
the role models can help us with these triggers, with these routines, with our rewards. I mean, that's just very powerful. And it doesn't mean you have to give up all your friends.
No.
But it means that you really need to find some people that are maybe on the same journey with you. Or at least for this time in your life, so that they can be also the people that are giving you encouragement.
And the reality, isn't that part of the success of Weight Watchers?
Oh, definitely.
You know, Weight Watchers is the weigh-in, which is a big motivator, but also that team of people. You know, that everyone that's there is there for the same reason. They are there to support one another for weight loss.
Yes. And so the thing is that when you do have doubts and frustrations, these habits won't become your habits unless they are yours. So you can be inspired by other people, but you can't have them influence you, because the influence only has to be internal. It has to come from inside of you. So when you're frustrated with what's happening, you need to give yourself a break. I think I personally am the hardest on myself than anyone else, but I've learned that this is the start of a new habit. You have your plan, you have your reminder, and if you mess up in your routine, in the actual behavior, forgive yourself and start over. Don't give up.
Absolutely. I call it the grace card.
Yeah, that's
you know,
good.
if people are playing poker, and you've often heard it, they have an ace up their sleeve. I say have a grace card up your sleeve, and if you have a bad day, if you go back to the break room and get the cookie, and you've been so good for 2 weeks, and then then pull out the grace card and be like, okay, one oops does not defeat 14 days of hard work.
And if you're in your brain doing that negative talk, self-talk to yourself, I say do the but. You know, if you're saying, oh, I just can't do this, but if I go out and walk, that's one thing that I did today. You know, so just say, but the next thing has to be something good. And I really think that, like you said, giving yourself that pep talk, but giving yourself grace is much more important, because we're all in process.
Right.
That's all it is.
I mean, even using the dental floss. Okay, so I did it 3 days in a row, and I didn't for 3 days in a row, and I could be like, I'm never going to learn to floss my teeth every day, but tomorrow is a new day, and I will floss tomorrow.
Exactly. And sometimes you think that a goal that you want or need is the one you should be working on right now. For example, I did a 30-day gluten-free type of diet for right before I started the nutrition plan, and nothing changed for me. Well, that's because I needed to heal some other things first inside my body before I realized there was a gluten sensitivity. So sometimes we might start a habit or try a new routine, and it's just not working out. Well, maybe we need to think about something else that needs to happen prior. I just want to have everyone remember that it's those small changes that affect the whole rest of your life. So whether you stop eating a cookie in the afternoon, start flossing once or twice a week, those small changes, those small little things in your routine, in your habits, are going to affect the rest of your life, the rest of the parts of your life, which I think is very, very critical.
Which means celebrate the little things.
Oh, definitely.
I often think of the Christmas special, put one foot in front of the other.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And soon you'll be walking right out that door. And
That's
I
right.
love that song. I've actually sent it to people before. I've emailed it to them just to remind them, you know, just one foot in front of the other.
Right.
And then you'll be walking out that door.
Yep. So if you can remember the reminder, the routine, and the reward, and you start this now, guess what? Any habit, anything you want to change in your life, you can change it.
Yes, and that's such encouraging news, because we want to know that we can positively impact our life, will then impact other people's lives as well.
That's right. So I think it's awesome.
So any closing comments?
You know, this has just been so very, very great for me to be a part of this, because in changing my habits in the last 5 years, I have opened up this new organization with Grow From Your Overflow, and I'm really stepping into becoming a whole new person in my new half of century of my life. So I think it's an exciting time, and having these skills is an awesome, awesome way to do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing from your overflow.
Thank you.
So, thank you for joining us today, developing a new habit. If you have any questions, please call us at 248-245-1809 or email us at guidance@clarkstonlighthousecounseling.com. And again, that was guidance@clarkstonlighthousecounseling.com. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
The views expressed in this show are for general educational purposes only and do not constitute professional advice on any subject matter, nor do they necessarily reflect the views or opinions of its guests or of Independence Television. If mental health assistance is needed, please seek professional licensed treatment.